Get your questions answered by Deb and Jen.
Deb and Jen are at it again. Hey everyone, welcome to the Deb and Jen Show. I'm Coach Deb.
And I'm Coach Jen. Nice to see you today.
Yeah, and every week we're trying to answer your questions. We're answering your questions on sales and marketing, messaging and speaking, all critical elements to growing your business. You're welcome to pop on anytime and ask a question or send us a question at questions at thedebandjenshow.com or just debandjenshow.com. And we'll be happy to answer them live. So one thing that's come up recently from someone I was talking to, and I thought it'd be a good subject for today, is the subject of follow-up. Follow-up. Ooh, but you know what? It's a critical part of the sales process. And so many sales are lost because people don't follow up. So let's take up that subject today, Jen. I know you're all over this. You're all about follow-up as part of the process. And can I just share, though, real quickly, one of my fun things that I came up with about follow-up? Not following up after you've had a conversation with someone is like going to a restaurant. The waitress brings you a menu, but never comes back to take your order. So the transaction doesn't take place. Yeah, exactly. Like what? So my question that we're going to pose today, Jen and I, our question, I should say, is, do you go back to take the order? Just like in a restaurant, okay? And why is that so important? So, Jen, some words of wisdom to kick us off on this whole discussion of follow-up.
Thanks for that analogy. It's so perfect. And I'm like, nope, I don't go back. I never go back. I just drop off the menu and I'm like, thanks for showing up today. Thanks for coming.
Call me if you're interested in that to-go order.
Yeah. If you could call the restaurant and ask them to come and get me, but I might be on my break, so I'll get back to you whenever it's convenient for me. That's how I like to run my business. And then I can't figure out why it won't grow, why people don't just buy for me.
Yeah, what is the problem with people anyway? Why do they take so long to make up their mind?
Exactly. All right, here's the menu. What do you want? Oh, you haven't had time to think about it or look at it, or you don't know me?
Yeah.
What do you want? Right. So if you buy for me in the first 3 minutes of meeting me, it's over. That's it. We're breaking up. Our relationship's over now.
Have you ever been to a restaurant where the waitress comes by and goes, so do you know what you want? And I'm like, no, this menu is 26 pages. Or how about this one? How about this one? I like this one too. When you ask the waitress, so how's the chicken parm? I don't know. Wouldn't be my first choice. Okay, then we'll cross that off the list. So
I still sometimes order the chicken parm. I'm like, I should just try it. It could be horrible. Let's see. Okay, go ahead.
Why are we saying all this? What does it have to do with follow-up? Because these are the questions your people are having after a call with you, and why follow-up is so important. You want to tell them why your chicken parm is the absolute best in the business and how it can elevate their culinary experience and make them feel phenomenal. And guess what? After that, they're going to refer that chicken parm to everyone that they know. So follow-up is your opportunity to describe why your product, your chicken parm, is the best in the business and why it's perfectly suited for them at this point in their business growth, this point in their life, whatever challenges that they're facing. And not having that follow-up call is a missed opportunity for you to clarify, for you to explain further, for you to really drill down on their problems and challenges, so that you can more accurately tailor your responses to what's truly going on for them. You might not have done enough excavation during the initial contact, or it wasn't appropriate. Like maybe you met someone at a networking event, like, oh gosh, I'd really love to talk to you. How many of those business cards do you still have sitting on your desk or in a drawer that you had the best intention of following up, but gee, now it's been a couple of weeks, they probably don't know who I am.
Right. Or how many of you find...
Yeah, if each of those was $100 bill, would you act differently?
Right, or a $2,000 check or something. Right, exactly. I mean, and how many of you find at the bottom? I mean, we've all been there. Find at the bottom of your purse or your laptop bag or whatever you have, like a stack of cards. Later, they're like, "Oh gosh, I really was going to," and you just don't do it. And at that point, you're like, "Well, I guess I'll just go to another meeting and get another stack of cards and then put those in the bottom of my purse." You should just leave them in there and just leave them all in there. And eventually you won't be able to fit anymore and you'll have to follow up.
Now, here's something that's really interesting. Those people sounded really interested or like getting to know you more or learning about you. But guess what? They didn't follow up either. How many of those people didn't follow up?
It's an epidemic.
It is an epidemic.
It is.
Here's the fascinating thing about this. People seldom buy in the first point of contact. And that word seldom is the right word. It's often the second, third, fourth, or even fifth touch point that they finally have enough know, like, and trust factor and believe in the transformation you promise in order for them to buy. And so ask yourself, how many times am I following up with people that I've met, that I've talked to, that have reached out to me on social media? How many times? If it's not 2 or more, you're missing a huge opportunity, especially for the people that said, wow, I'd really like to learn more about that. Okay, I'm going to full transparency. I was at an in-person networking event yesterday and once again met this woman who we had a great interaction the previous month, because this is a once a month networking thing. Let's get in touch. Yeah, let's get in touch. Never followed up. One, because I didn't have her card. Had no way to follow up with her. I could have if I wanted to dig a little. But we all fall into that trap of, oh, I'll get around to it. And we never do. So I saw her again yesterday and I said, oh my gosh, we so have to connect. Yes, we so do, she said. So it's on me to follow up with her because most people don't follow up.
Yeah.
This could radically change the face of your business, the growth of your business. Okay, Jen, you're the sales queen. Talk some more about this.
Thanks. I got a little crown downstairs. Maybe I'll bring it for the next show. I'll put it on sideways.
So sales though, I'm across it. Like if it's sales queen, get it.
Should. I like that. I like it. Okay. All right. I can make that happen. So here's the deal. Like, this is my perspective on it. I think y'all are going to like this. I don't love following up. That's my confession. I don't know who, well, I'm going to start with that. I don't love it. What I don't love about following up is I don't love trying to remember to get back to people because I feel like I'm not going to get it right. I'm going to forget some things. I'm going to take too long. It's not just the idea of following up with no system or no plan behind it can be really frustrating personally, because I've been through phases where I feel like I'm not doing a great job at this and I don't like that feeling. So following up in and of itself without some kind of a simple plan or system kind of is a plan to fail, right? Fail to plan to fail. So I want you to know that about me, because sometimes it's easy to make an assumption that everyone else is doing such a good job at following up that there must be something wrong with you or with your system or whatever. So just set that aside. Most people don't like to have a long to-do list and get super excited. Like, this is awesome. I have so many people I should follow up with. Like, so just know that it doesn't necessarily come naturally to everyone. So how I, as a quick start, solve this problem for myself is the first thing I do is if someone says, oh, we should really get together. Oh, we should connect. Oh, I'd love to hear more about what you do. I try to like schedule something in that moment. And it's not always possible, but I will say, great, like, hey, let's just check out next week. What does your week look like? Wednesday, Thursday, you want to pick a time, morning or afternoon? That's the first thing as I do. I try to just get it off my to-do list and set something up right away. Okay. So feel free to say that. Someone's like, oh, we should get together. Awesome. How about we just get it in the books right now? That way we both don't have to try to remember to follow up with each other. We're just done. And we know that we're going to meet next Thursday at 2 p.m. Sound good? Yeah. Most people will, if they really want to connect with you, if it wasn't just a polite thing to say, like, oh, we should get together, but they're like, yeah, no, we shouldn't. If they really want to get together with you, they'll be like, yeah, cool, let's do it. But let's just say that's not possible. Like, I don't know what my schedule looks like next week. I really want to get together, but I'll have to like connect with you on Monday. What I do for myself is when they walk away, I will take out my phone and make a note. I will push the little button and say, hey, set a reminder for Monday at 2 p.m. to reach out to Sarah about scheduling. So I just put an appointment or reminder in my phone so that when I take this phone and stick it back in my pocket, I don't have anything that I have to remember and carry around, especially if there are 3 to 5 or more people that I'd love to get together with, I don't want to leave that to chance, because I think it personally makes me look bad later, or I feel bad. I see them like, oh gosh, I was supposed to follow up and I didn't. So I try to close the loop as quickly as possible and make an
That's good.
appointment.
That's
Yeah.
good. And look, come up with a system that's going to work for you. So maybe Friday is your follow-up day. And
Mhm.
so when you're talking to someone, you can say, great, I usually follow up on Fridays. Do you have any time on Friday? Like, be specific about it. And what's good about this is like making a follow-up Friday morning, let's say, or afternoon, doesn't matter. But you kind of get in the groove of conversating.
Conversating, I always say.
Yeah, we're conversationalating. So you kind of get in the groove though of talking about what you offer, why it's beneficial, but also you get in the groove of learning more about them and what their challenges and frustrations and issues are. Because the more you know about them, and the more you do this with phrases like, gee, that sounds agonizing. Tell me more about that. What's that costing you? Or ask questions, prompt them to share more. Why? Because the more specific they get when sharing, the more specific you can get with your solutions, right? So rather than generalized problems, generalized solutions, you're not only showing empathy by asking to hear more, but secret sauce, you're actually learning a little bit more about them so that your solution is more tailored, sounds more tailored to them, because it is. It's not just one size fits all. It's like, gee, I've helped people who've been procrastinating longer than 2 years on XYZ. In fact, I just had a woman last year and you can bring in a case study or an example or whatever. If you don't ask those probing questions, you're going to be in the general zone and you want to get to the specific zone. I just made that up, but it's what really matters. Yeah.
It's a real thing. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going into like, what happens when you show up to the call? So, I mean, just to recap how to get to narrow your to-do list, recapping is just try to get it scheduled right away. If you're going to do a face-to-face meeting, whether it's Zoom, etc., whatever it is, even if it's send an email, just use this thing. I use my voice almost always. I'll push the button and say, hey, set a calendar appointment for Monday at 2 p.m. Follow up with Sarah. Right. So now I just set it, I drop it, set it and forget it. Right. Like the Ronco roaster. Love that. Set it and forget it. So but then when you get on the call, correct. Like the goal is not to be in their face with like, well, thanks for meeting with me, Deborah. Just so you know, I'm a speaking coach and I've got an upcoming 6-week event that I'd like to invite you to. You're like, right? Like I'm out. I'm going to go. Sorry, I got to close my laptop now. So the goal really is to just be a good person and find out what's up for them. Some
Yeah.
of my higher level, if I'm meeting with someone that I don't know much about their business, I don't usually hop right into like, so tell me what's wrong with your business. I ask questions like, okay, so what are some of your biggest goals for this year? Okay, awesome. Like, oh, you want to hold a 100-person retreat. That sounds amazing. Like, how is that going? Do you have registrants already? Like, where are you at in that process? Tell me more. Oh, like, is there any place that I could support you where you feel like you're stuck? Whether I could make a referral or perhaps I could help, like, tell me, like, is there anything you need to make this 100-person retreat a reality? And they'll just tell you, it's kind of like talking to any friend. If they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get leads. Oh my gosh, I love helping people get leads. That's exactly what I do. I'd totally be willing. Like, if you want to talk about it, I'd love to have a discussion about how I might be able to help you get leads so you can fill your 100-person event. That's
Yep.
it. That wasn't salesy. That was just helping.
Right. So I've probably said this before on the show, but it's germane to what you just said, which is be more interested than interesting, right? It's about that. Like, so seldom do we really have someone who's listening acutely to us, deeply listening to us. So it's a gift that we give them by listening, empathizing, leaning in, saying, tell me more about that. And you don't want to do this from a place of ickiness, like I'm doing this so I can get the sale. No, you're doing it from a genuine place of, I really want to know, like, how's this going for you? Or if it's not working, what seems to be in the way? Be genuine, be sincere. And that's goes a long way to the know, like, and trust factor, right? So
Yeah.
we're all tired of being sold to, right? We're all tired of the blitzkrieg of sales emails, the Facebook Live sales posts. It's like, oh my God, I can't get away from it. You know,
Right.
what are they putting ads on? You know, the ads on the back of your grocery store receipt, it's everywhere. It's endless.
You know what? I think they passed a law. I'm making that up. I don't know that they did, but I hope they passed a law outlawing those kiosks at the grocery store that talk to you when you walk from like aisle 6 to aisle
I
7.
haven't even seen that.
It only happened for a couple of years, and I literally was like, "That's it. I'm going to grow my own food. I'm not going to go to the grocery store again." Because you'd walk from like around the end of the end of the aisle, and it was motion censored, and it would be
Oh
like,
my
"Have you
God.
purchased the
That's
charcoal
crazy.
toothpaste today?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm just trying to buy some soup." You know what I mean? Like, leave me alone.
That
Yeah.
would be
So
like going into the hotel elevator and a speaker coming on going, have you tried our brasserie on level 2? We've got great lamb chops. And oh my gosh, no, leave me alone.
right, and then I look like I have some type of a issue, a medical issue, because I'm literally like, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. La, la, la. Same thing at the gas station pumps, right? I still feel the same way about those,
Oh
right? Like,
no, the TV starts playing. No,
no,
no.
that's
All
it.
right, so listen. So this
Okay,
is a great segue
serious.
to a question that I got, which is, all right, how do you follow up without being annoying?
Yeah, yeah,
Because, you know, I said you sometimes you have to follow up 2, 3, 4, or 5 times.
yeah,
So how can you do that without annoying the person, Jen?
sure. That is a great segue. You should
I
just
get
be
this
like, hey,
question
what are
all
you
the time.
doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What were you thinking about me right now? Like, that's not creepy.
Hey, you didn't answer my last email. What's wrong with you? Get back to me.
Right, right. Always blame your audience for everything that doesn't work in your
Absolutely,
business.
absolutely.
Rule number one, it's always someone else's fault. Um, so, okay, I'm gonna paint a picture around this of, let me ask everyone a question, like anyone who's listening, you, right, listening. So, have you ever gotten an email or a text that you actually weren't annoyed by? You're like, "Ooh, gosh, that does sound really good," and you're busy in the moment, and
Yeah.
part of your brain thinks, you know what? I'll get back to it. But if I don't, I know they're going to send me another one. They're going to send me another text, or they're going to send me another email, or they're going to give me another phone call. Now, whether we like it or not, in today's world, it's the norm. The norm is that there is follow-up, right? So let me ask you the other question. Let's paint the other picture. Let's say there's something you want and you get a single phone call. You don't make it, you miss the call, and they never call you again. They never text you, they never email you. You get one call back. Isn't there a little part of you that's like, gosh, maybe they're too busy for me, or maybe that isn't even a real business. Maybe they don't have, like it was just somebody that called me once. Like, it's actually weird to not have follow-up these days. So first I want to normalize follow-up. There's nothing wrong with reminding people, because people are so busy and so inundated with things. So just because they don't pick up your first phone call or reply to your first email or your first text does not mean they don't want what you have.
Yep.
Okay. Just set that aside. So when it comes to following up, you ever heard the story, like, or the saying, book a call from a call? Well, if you don't have a call, like maybe you send an email, it's okay to leave that email open-ended and say, hey, give me a call. If not, I'll follow up with you next week. You could say that. I don't always do it, but you could. So you can kind of keep the door open. So you have permission to keep following up until you hear from them. You could also, like, I was going to say, use a variety of messaging methods. Like, you could text, you could email. And just, you can actually send the same email and maybe change the words a little bit. Or you could put like, hey, just checking on you. Hey, reaching out, are you still interested in? That's the famous 9-word email. So you can send follow-ups until they say, hey, stop following up with me. I'm not interested. Like, that's an option. And I don't know, Coach Deb, if you have other ways that you do it, but I would say it's just realize that you're not annoying them unless you get pushy. Let me tell you this, I was looking at some land in Montana, and it was like a couple years ago, and I looked just for fun, right? It was before Yellowstone came out. It wasn't because of Yellowstone. And I love Montana. It's beautiful. And I put out, a couple of requests for searches to come back to me for land parcels in Montana. And then I went about my life and I forgot about it for like 6 months to a year. And then I went back and I looked at Montana land just out of curiosity. I forgot about it for 6 months to a year. And about 4 months ago, I was like, man, I wonder what Montana land looks like. I've actually been looking at real estate and land my whole life. It's just a thing I do. And I got this message from a realtor that said, hey, you reached out. I saw you made requests 3 years ago and a year and a half ago. I'm just checking to see if you're looking. I'm like, I'm just browsing. I'm not really looking. And I got a second message from him that said, I don't understand why you're even sending messages in if you're not even serious about buying land. With like the eyeballs with the straight face, the straight stick mouth. And I was like,
What?
it really happened. I should have saved and taken a screenshot. And I was like, well, I'm never buying Montana land from you. So just know, like, it's not all about like you. I don't know what experience this realtor or this man is having. Maybe he gets so many inquiries because people are all kind of infatuated with Montana land and he's sick of it. But I wasn't trying to like, to waste his time or anything else. He can just type me into an electronic search and I can get the result. He doesn't even have to talk to me. The point is, he was having his own experience and he was very pushy and very rude. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
What should he have said instead?
If he said, hey, you know what? I know you may just be browsing now. Enjoy. I'm going to put you on a list. And if you ever need me, here's my number. I'm happy to help you. And I would have said, awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And we would have had a great relationship.
Yeah.
So,
or how about, hey, how about I follow up in 3 months? Or how about I follow up with you in 6 months, see where you're at, right? Don't ever alienate somebody who, like Jen, who knows, something could happen in her life and all of a sudden she's keenly interested in Montana and she's going to head up there now to look for land. That guy burned his bridge, right? He
100%.
totally burned his bridge. So what can you do to, quote, not burn the bridge, but also keep somebody in your pipeline, right? So this is all, you've probably heard this expression, your client pipeline. How do you keep people in your pipeline still interested? And, we've heard statistics, for example, of people going, wow, I've been watching you for 4 or 5 years. I'm ready to buy. You're like, what? Exactly. You never know how long people are watching your posts or reading your emails. And finally, they're ready to buy because whatever circumstances change in their life, maybe their financial landscape, their relationship landscape, something changed where the opportunity was now right in front of them. Okay. So don't ignore people because they didn't respond. Just keep going. If someone doesn't want your emails, they're going to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't want to see your post, they're just going to scroll past them. But don't take that as an indicator that they're not interested. Assume everybody's interested at some level.
Yeah.
They're browsing, they're looking, they have urgency, whatever it is, there's different levels, but don't assume that they're not interested. Now,
yeah. Oh, if I might tell one story about that, a really great example. There's a realtor that I knew. I've been in real estate for a long time, off and on, and real estate as an investor. And there was a realtor that I knew who was one of the most famous and successful real estate agents in Wisconsin, in the area that I was in for quite a while. And we were talking about business because I love talking about business. And he was I'll call him like old school guy, right? He'd been around for 50 years in real estate, probably. But everybody loved him and he seemed to always be busy as he wanted to be. And we were talking about business systems. And one of the things that he did, and he had done his entire career, is every year on the anniversary of somebody's home purchase date, like, so let's say you bought a new house on May 1st. He kept a spreadsheet. He had a office staff, an administrative person that had a spreadsheet, or maybe it probably was in a calendar. And on May 1st, every year, they would send you a dozen roses saying, we appreciate your business. We love that we got to be part of your new home purchase. I mean, if you lived there for 30 years, you got 30 dozen roses, period. It wasn't because you were a prospective buyer. You said, I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to buy a new one. You just got it. But that once a year touch point, they say the average person stays in their house for like 5, maybe 7 to 10 years. 10's actually longer than the national average. So do you think that once a year sending a dozen roses made this guy 6, 7 figures, maybe 8 figures, who knows, through the course of his career because he was so prolific? 100%. But he never said, it's been a year. I can't believe you haven't reached out to me. Don't you want to sell your house? He just would say, thank you for your business. appreciate you. If you need me, I'm here for you. And
Yep.
people went back to him over, and he's like, I've had people who have bought and sold 5 or 10 houses with me because they move, etc., just because of those dozen roses and staying in touch. Brilliant.
Yeah. And it's the gesture more than the roses, right?
Mhm.
It's the gesture that says, I care about you. I appreciate your business. That not only makes the person feel valued and appreciated, but also keeps you top of mind with them. So when it does come time to buy another house or refer a friend to a realtor, they think of you. Okay. So this is great because it's follow up after the sale, Jen, which, we started with follow up prior to the sale. So I kind of wanted to, all of a sudden my Zoom screen disappeared. So I kind of wanted to just go back for a quick second, then we're coming up to the end of our time.
Yep.
So following up before the sale, let's say you're doing emails. My rule of thumb is 5 emails. And each one is a little bit different, obviously. A subject line could be, in case you missed it, ... I'm a big fan of the ... Or and the 5th email could be, hey, haven't heard from you. I'm just going to assume that you're really, really busy. So I'm going to put it on my tickler file to check back with you at several months. Okay. And that's the end of it on email 5. So what do you do in between? You provide value. You restate what was important to them that they shared with you when you first met them or had a conversation with them. Let's say it's, gee, I'm really stalled in my business. I can't, our productivity sucks. At the end of the day, I can't figure out what I got done. Okay. So in your email, you would say, hey, Bob, I just circling back. I know that when we spoke, you were concerned about procrastinating or not being as productive as you could be. As we discussed, there are some really simple systems and strategies to put into place. So at the end of the day, you're really proud of how much you've accomplished. Let's have a chat and discuss how that could work for you. Okay, that could be email 2, 3, or 4. So some derivative of that. Always remembering, as Jen said, they're not going to read every email because they're just too busy and they get too many emails. So don't assume they've read them all and you're annoying them. To the contrary, you're reminding them about what matters to them. You're keeping it, you're raising it back up again to the surface where they can see it again, right? Because remember, most people push down the things that annoy them, right? Oh, I'm single, such a bummer, push it down. Or, oh, I'm never going to lose 20 pounds, push it down, have some Doritos, right? So people don't want to live with their problems at the surface because they don't have a solution in front of them. So we remind them of their challenges, problems, and issues that they shared and say, good news, this is easily solvable. Ta-da! All right. We could talk probably a lot more about this, and maybe we should on a future call, but let's wrap up, Jen, with the things. Let's drive home the points. 1, if you're not following up, you're leaving money on the table.
Yes.
You go the next one. You take, what's another one? The
Okay.
bottom line here, anything that we're
Number 1, if you're not following up, leave money on the table. Number 2, you are not annoying people when you follow up. Be respectful and follow up. Remind them.
Yep. Number 3, tailor your follow-up to the specific conversation you had with them. Don't be generic. Don't be one size fits all. Be sincere and genuine.
Number 4 is to always be interested in them. It is about them. They're having their own experience. It's not about you. So always be interested in what's going on for them and how you can serve and help them to solve their problem.
Yeah. Excellent. What was that? 3 or 4?
That was 4.
Okay. So 5. Remember, follow-up is a gift to them because people are busy. They're distracted. They have a lot of stuff crossing their plate, crossing their mind. Things vying for their attention. So you're actually bringing a gift. See follow-up as a gift to the person you're following up with so that they can actually get past what's troubling them, hanging them up, keeping their business from growing, their relationships from thriving, their family from survive, whatever it is, you following up as a gift and see it that way, reframe it that way. Okay, 5 pointers for follow-up. The main bottom line here is follow up, go back and take the order, right?
Right, exactly.
Share the menu. Let's go back and take the order.
Love it.
All right. That's all for today, everyone. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next time. And remember, send your questions to questions@debandjenshow.com and we can feature them on a live show. You can also come on live and ask questions and we'll do it there. Until then, Go out there and thrive.
See
Bye
ya.
for now.
Awesome.